Every part about the story is symbolic. Okay, so on the third day they go to Cana for a wedding, and the third day refers to the rebirth. Cana means to acquire, and a wedding is a union between two parts, right? So they're going somewhere to acquire the rebirth by uniting two parts, the masculine and the feminine, but we'll get to that. Okay, and then the mother of Jesus is there, which symbolizes intuition, tells Jesus that something is missing. They're out of wine, and Jesus, the Christ consciousness within us all, says, oh, what does that have to do with me? I'm not ready. This is not my hour. Meaning the full transformation into the Christ consciousness is not yet here, but he still does the miracle, right? Meaning that even though your full awakening has not occurred, you will get glimpses of it. So then he still tells the servants, go and fill these 6 stone jars. So 6th day is when humanity was created, and the stone refers to like solidity in your old beliefs, right? And so then they fill them to the brim. What this is saying is that once you get filled up, we're not going to take everything out, right? Jesus doesn't make the transformation. He doesn't empty it out and then put in new stuff. He takes what you've already had in your life and then transform that. Your ordinary life becomes the material that is transformed. And they fill it with 20 to 30 gallons, right? Which means that after this transformation occurs, there's going to be more than you even expected is available to you. And then they serve a little to the master of the feast. And the master of the feast calls the bridegroom over. They're now united person. And the master of the feast says to him, look, most people serve the poor stuff after the good stuff, right? Meaning, usually we start off life excited and hopeful, but through living it, we end up bitter and disappointed. But not you. You've gone through a transformation, and now you're saving the best stuff for after all of that stuff happened. And then at the end of this, there's a passage where people usually just kind of wave it away. And that's where they say, after Cana, they go to Capernaum and they stay there for a couple of days. But who goes with them? His mother, his brothers, and his disciples. Okay. So the disciples now saw the act and started to believe. So the disciples represent parts of yourself now that kind of believe in this system. The brothers represent the old familiar parts of yourself. And the mother, like I said before, is intuition. So you go there for a couple of days. Now, John is very descriptive about what he puts in his stories, right? There was 6 stone jars, and they all had 20 to 30 gallons. But now when they go to Capernaum, it's just for a couple of days. That's because once you first have that initial awakening, that first thing that sparks this new way of living, it takes a while for you to incorporate that into your life. But with it, you bring your intuition, your old belief systems, your familiar old ways of thinking, and your new parts of you that believe in yourself and this new system. So real world example, you're going through your life, you hit a point where you just have nothing left in you, right? You have no more ways to turn. You just feel like this life is bogging you down. You can't get rid of it. So then you something tells you within, your intuition tells you that there's a better way. Maybe you think, I've just been trying to control everything. Maybe I need to stop controlling. Or maybe you've been distracting yourself. So you stop scrolling, or you stop putting on the music. You stop watching movies. You turn the TV off. You put yourself through like a social media cleanse. Maybe even you start to meditate for like 10 minutes every morning, and you start to notice a change. You start to notice a transformation where somebody cuts you off in traffic, and instead of yelling and screaming at them and it ruining your whole day, it's not really a big deal. And you start to think, wow, once I started doing these things, I started noticing a transformation within myself. And I do believe that this may be the way to move forward. Okay, let me know if you have any questions. Like, follow, subscribe. Thank you. And I love you.